Hello there. Today I'm going to discuss how to encourage your child to ask questions. So once a child is able to speak in short sentences and answer basic questions like yes or no questions, it might be natural to look out for them to begin asking more questions independently. Some children, however, might not necessarily pick this up naturally at the same rate as others, and there are some things that we can do to assist them. I'm going to suggest a few things here. The first sort of thing that I think might be useful to address is to specifically teach them what a question and what an answer is, because if you ask them to ask a question and they don't know what question means, they might struggle. So it might be beneficial to check that they understand what the term question and answer means. For example, you can say, I am going to ask you a question. What color is the block? Can you answer the question? They say red. You say, good job, you said the correct answer. The answer was red. You can repeat this strategy regularly and try to vary the type of question as little as possible in the beginning, just to keep it straightforward. In this instance, you could just look at colors of the blocks for the whole of the first session, and then the next time you could choose something similar. With practice and perhaps a little patience, they might start to pick up what it means to ask or answer a question. After this, you can extend the same task by starting out the same and saying, now can you ask me a question? You are looking for the child to ask the same type of question you have asked. If they are struggling, you can choose a block for her to ask about, or can you ask me a question about the block? Because you just asked about the block, now you can say, if they're struggling, can you ask me about this block? Then hopefully they can come out with something like, what color is the block? You praise them, good question. Blue, did I get the correct answer? They can confirm yes or no. Once again, this might take regular practice and you might need some patience. Another thing that you can do is you can get pictures that are filled with silly things that are happening. So once your child understands what a question and answer is and can ask the first stage of questions, you can start to look at new things. So for example, if you take a silly picture, you can ask them, what can you see? For example, they say a snowman. Good job, I see that too. Now can you ask me a question? And then you're looking for them to repeat the same question back to you. What can you see? And you can say, good asking questions. I see a dog on a hill. You can continue this until they spot all the things, or maybe their engagement might start to fade. The next strategy that you can use is using when you're reading them a story. For example, a lot of parents read their children's stories at bedtime. You can take a story that you know they're particularly engaged in or that they know well and ask a question before you turn each page. You can ask a question first, where is the bear standing? And they say, on the hill, or they can just point and say there. You praise them, good answering questions. Can you ask me a question? This one will take a little bit more creativity, so you kind of want them to be a bit solid on the idea first, and it can be more challenging. But you can help them out by asking questions that they can take and apply to something else on the pages, such as whereabouts, color, shape, or animals. It can also be a good method for why questions too, because you can check their comprehension of the story. Another strategy is a card swapping game. So you can create a set of cards that have pictures of interesting objects or animals that your child knows the vocabulary for and play a question game with the cards. Now, you don't need to go and buy a set of cards, and it'd be good if you had a printer and you can make something like that, but you could just get a marker pen, cut up some squares and draw some things on like suns and moons. You place the cards face down, each of you pick up a card, and you ask, what card did you get? They say, the elephant. You're like, nice elephant. Can you ask me a question? They say, what card do you have? Good question. I have the cat. Then you place the cards back down, face down, and mix them around. And then you can say, let's try and find each other's cards. So you pick up a card. Is this your card? They say, no. And you say, that's true. It's not an elephant. Can you try to find my cat? They pick up a card. Can you ask me the question? Is this your card? Good question. Yes, that's my card. It has a cat on it. You can also ask them to give you a card. Can you give me a card? Here you go. Thank you. Can you ask me to give you a card? Can you give me a card? Here you go. And so on. Once they've kind of got the questioning routine going a little bit, you might find that they're trying new sentences and struggling to communicate what question they're attempting to ask more spontaneously, like around across the day. You can listen out for these opportunities to decode what the question is. For example, they might say something like, "What food?" around a mealtime, meaning what food is for lunch, or what will we eat for lunch. You can ask them if that's the question they're trying to ask. So you say, "Are you trying to say, what will we have for lunch?" And they might say yes or no. And then once you've figured out what the question is, you can tell them, "Oh, you're trying to ask the question, what food is for lunch? Can you ask the question?" They say, "What food is for lunch?" And you say, "Good question. I don't know, because I haven't planned it yet." So those are a few strategies that you can utilize if you're trying to encourage your children to ask more questions. Thank you very much for your time.